Katie Price has shocked fans once again. At 47 years old, already a mother of 5 and openly moving towards menopause, she's announced she still wants lots more babies. Yes, despite her chaotic personal life, a string of failed relationships, financial troubles, and strained bonds with the children she already has, Katie insists she wants to expand her family even further. But here's the big question. Is this really about motherhood? Or is it about Katie's endless need to stay in the headlines? Before we dig into the full story, and trust me, this one raises eyebrows, make sure you hit subscribe right now. We bring you daily deep dives into the biggest celebrity dramas, comebacks, and controversies. And when it comes to Katie Price, there's always more to unpack. So, let's get into it. Katie Price stood on stage in Fleetwood alongside her pal Carrie Katona, vaping, joking, and answering questions from the audience. In the middle of it all, she dropped her latest bombshell. Despite admitting her eggs are, in her words, effed, she's determined to have lots more children. She told fans, "I can still carry a baby, so there's still ways that I can have babies and I will have more. I want to keep having more until I can't. I'll have as many as I can still, and I will." The crowd gasped. The headlines wrote themselves, and critics immediately asked the obvious. Why? Because let's be honest, Katie's track record as a mother is complicated. Very complicated. Let's start with Harvey, her eldest. Now 23, Harvey has faced huge challenges due to his disabilities. By Katie's own admission, raising him has been incredibly tough. She has spoken about her love for him, but also about the chaos, the exhaustion, and the breakdowns it has caused. Harvey now spends much of his time in residential care, where professionals can provide the stability and structure Katie has struggled to manage. Then there's Junior and Princess, her children with Peter Andre. For years, their relationship with Katie has been rocky. Both teenagers have openly admitted the mucky mansion was a miserable place to grow up. Princess even described it as scary, saying she had bad experiences in the house. Junior, meanwhile, has built a much closer bond with his dad, Peter, and is carving out his own music career away from his mom's shadow. And what about Bunny and Jett, her younger 2 children with Kieran Haler? Their childhood has been overshadowed by bitter custody battles, public feuds, and years of instability. At times, Katie has even risked losing access to them entirely due to her erratic lifestyle and endless scandals. When you lay it all out, it's clear. Katie already struggles to maintain healthy, stable relationships with the children she has. So why on earth would she want more? The timing is telling. Katie's latest revelation comes just months after the collapse of her relationship with Carl Woods. Remember her Channel 4 show, Making Babies? Cameras followed her IVF journey as she tried desperately to conceive with Carl. It ended in failure. Only 2 eggs were harvested, 1 fertilized, but she was told she wasn't pregnant. The disappointment was huge, and not long after, her relationship with Carl fell apart. Carl later said he had done everything he could, but her mood swings and the distance between them made the relationship impossible. He walked away. So now, with her romantic life once again in ruins, Katie is once again turning to the idea of more children. But is this really about love and motherhood, or about filling a void? Doctors have already warned her that her chances are slim. Her hormone levels are low. She's edging closer to menopause. Even with medical help, the odds of conceiving naturally are stacked against her. Yet still, Katie insists she'll do whatever it takes. It's almost as if she sees babies as another project, another headline, another way to prove the world wrong. But the reality is far more sobering. Katie is 47 years old. She's bankrupt again. She's admitted she hates the house she lived in for nearly a decade. She's undergone countless surgeries. She's battled through court cases, driving bans, and health scares. By her own account, she's exhausted. So is it really responsible or fair for her to bring more children into the chaos? Because children aren't just for Instagram photos. They aren't a prop for a new reality series. They aren't a headline grabber. They are human beings who need stability, consistency, and love. And if we're brutally honest, Katie's track record doesn't exactly inspire confidence. Even Princess, her own daughter, has begun carving out a life without her mom's constant drama. Her ITV2 show, The Princess Diaries, is proof that she's stepping into the spotlight on her own terms, away from the chaos of Katie's world. Junior, too, is focused on his music, proudly supported by his dad. Both teenagers seem determined to distance themselves from the dysfunction they grew up with. Meanwhile, Jett and Bunny have already endured years of instability, constant battles over custody, constant changes to their home life. They're still children. They need peace, not more upheaval. And yet Katie wants more. The question is, why? Some critics argue it's part of her constant reinvention. Katie Price has always been about what's next. When the modeling slowed, she moved to reality TV. When TV dried up, she tried books, business ventures, and singing careers. Now, as those ventures falter, perhaps motherhood becomes the next storyline. Others believe it's about control. Children have always tied Katie to the headlines. Pregnancy announcements, custody battles, drama with exes. Babies keep her relevant. And in her mind, perhaps more babies equal more attention. But the cost of that attention is enormous. For her health, for her sanity, and most importantly, for the children themselves. At some point, enough has to be enough. Katie herself once admitted she felt exhausted by the IVF process, that she was worn down by failed relationships and endless struggles. Yet now, just months later, she insists she'll keep trying until her body simply can't anymore. It sounds less like a plan for motherhood and more like an obsession. And maybe that's why so many people are uncomfortable with this revelation. Because it's not just about whether Katie can have more children. It's about whether she should. Her focus, many believe, should be on the 5 she already has. Rebuilding trust with Princess, supporting Junior, providing stability for Jett and Bunny, being there for Harvey as he continues to grow into adulthood. 5 children, 5 lives, 5 relationships that desperately need her attention. Isn't that enough? Katie Price has never been one to bow to criticism. She thrives on defiance. When people say she can't, she finds a way to prove them wrong. But motherhood isn't about proving a point. It's about putting someone else's needs before your own. And if history is anything to go by, that's something Katie has always struggled to do. So, what happens next? Will Katie pursue donor eggs? Another round of IVF? Adoption? Or will this be just another headline that fades into the background as the next scandal takes over? One thing's certain, Katie isn't done talking about it. She'll keep making declarations, she'll keep stirring debate, and she'll keep herself in the spotlight, because that's what she's always done. But the real question is this: how will her children feel hearing their mom publicly declare she wants lots more babies when the ones she already has have grown up surrounded by turmoil? Perhaps the best way Katie could prove the critics wrong isn't by having more children, but by finally showing up for the ones she already has. What do you think? Should Katie Price stop chasing more pregnancies and focus on repairing her family life? Or do you think she's entitled to keep trying, no matter what the critics say? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe right now for more deep dives into the biggest celebrity controversies. Because with Katie Price, one thing is guaranteed: there's always another headline just around the corner.